From what is currently Steve's spare room, this is Horribly Off Topic. I'm Chris.
And I'm Steve.
This is your spare room.
It sure is.
And it's episode number 263.
263?
263.
That seems like
a lot.
63 more than 200.
It does seem like that, yeah. Steve, I got to ask you if you remember way back in the day to episode number 83.
So basically, like 4 years ago, let's say?
4 years ago, almost exactly. 4 years ago. See, we are recording today on February 29th, which we need to talk about, because that's not a date you hear every year.
No, for some reason,
it's a date you hear only every
once every 4, and it's fucking stupid that it exists.
But before you go there, I want to go back in time to the episode that came out on February 29th, 2016. It was episode number 83. It was the previous time that there was a leap year in the run of this show. And I just wanted to read to you, refresh your memory about what was going on back then. So episode number 83 was called Don't Frost It So Much. And this, I'm
assuming we were like that was in reference to the gingerbread cookies that I used to enjoy from
I believe so,
from Market Basket. And that was like 4 years ago. That was still when we were living in Woburn before we bought the house.
And sometimes the frosting was a
little bit too substantial.
Yeah. So here was the description. Steve has a problem with frosting. Chris is thinking too hard about Rachel McAdams. And Donald Trump is going to be president.
Fucking hell. This was before he was president, folks.
It's February 29th.
Can you take that out of the goddamn show notes?
I can't. I'm not going to go back in time. It shows that one of us was onto something.
Yeah. Well.
Now, I want it to be said, because we have stipulated that I am not allowed to make any predictions regarding the general election that's coming up here in 2020.
Yeah, because you predicted the Cubs winning the World Series and that bullshit you just said.
Right. So I just want everyone to know I uttered that sentence only as a quote. There were quotation marks around that. I was quoting from 2016. I was not making any prediction about the 2020 election. I will not do that. I have promised not to do that.
Okay. I'm going to hold you to that.
Yeah. But so I don't know where we should. So we were saying before we started recording, we must have been on the cusp of a Super Tuesday back then, and we're on the cusp of a Super Tuesday right now. Now, we said we weren't going to talk about it. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to note that we are on the cusp of a Super Tuesday.
Well, here in Massachusetts, and I think in other states, and I'm not going to say who I voted for, but I think if you've listened to any episodes anytime recently, you'll know exactly who I
Mayor
voted.
Pete.
Yeah, right. You'll know exactly who I voted for. But we do early voting here, and
was it Uncle Joe? Sorry, keep going. We do early voting,
and I did that, and so did my wife. So we don't have to vote on Tuesday because we already have.
Yeah, my wife and I were discussing this the other day, and I think the towns think that they're doing, and they are doing a favor for a lot of people. My town of Chelmsford, opened up the town offices all this past. I don't know if it was the entirety of this past week, but it was most of this past week for early voting.
Samesies for Maynard.
But it was only during normal town howl.
That's where the werewolves. The werewolf town. That's their town howl.
They vote every 4 years on what the town howl is going to be.
Yeah, but it's only on a full moon.
So town hall in Chelmsford, only during their normal operating hours could you go in and do early voting, which would have worked out fine for me if I'd figured out a time, but did nothing for my wife, who can't get down there during town hall hours and is going to have a very hard time getting there on Tuesday. And it just brought up the subject again of why election days should be national, or at least here, with the way primaries currently work, they should be state holidays.
The problem with that, and it always will be a problem, is that the kind of companies that would give you the day off and pay you for those holidays are not the kind of companies are the kind of companies that, you know, tend to be more giving with their time to their employees. And the kind of companies that wouldn't are the ones like the manual labor, the you know, minimum wage.
So what about have people float? I have a brilliant idea about elections that I want to run by you in a second here, but how have we given the idea to weekends? I mean, is the
and again,
other states do that? Same
deal. Like, you know, the majority of like minimum wage and in fact service industry jobs are going to be working primarily on the weekends. So like a Tuesday might actually be better for someone like that.
Well, and that thought I had on the way over is there are religious implications of doing it on the weekend as well. If you have it on
Saturday,
anybody who's Orthodox Jewish, right, it's from Friday at sunset to
Saturday
at from sunset to sunset, I think is how it works. That they're not
Super fucking Shabbos.
But I want to run by you what I think is a solution to all of our problems, right? All of our
coronavirus.
Yes. Well, see, now you've brought up two things I want to give us plenty of time to get to. But I got an idea the other day, and I was thinking this is brilliant, and why has nobody thought of this? And I just want to run it by you so that you can tell me that I'm actually an idiot, and everything that's wrong with it. Because that's where this is where I bring ideas. I bring them to the show so I can realize how dumb I am for thinking them. So I want to propose that
Chris, we're both already married.
No. This is to the country. I want to propose.
You mean to the 2 or 3 people that listen?
If we're lucky, there's at least 7 or 8.
Oh wow, cool.
I think there's got to be at least 7 or 8. All right. So
is the podcast listed on your books, like in the liner notes?
I just recently updated the books on the advice of courses that I'd taken, which were all about like making them lean and mean. So I got to remember if I don't think they are.
Motherfucker, you hate this show.
I don't hate the show. I don't hate the show. I have a real problem separating and figuring out which parts of my audience, and I put scare quotes around that, are interested.
Scare quotes?
Scare quotes. Yeah, scare quotes.
Is that when you're
that's when you
frightened of air quotes?
That's when you go to Town Howl, and you that's the kind of they use scare quotes at Town Howl.
Look, I bit somebody in the neck.
In the neck of their dick. I don't know. Like if you did scare quotes around in the neck, what are they meaning by putting the scare quotes around in the neck?
I don't know. I was just trying to like be like the werewolf saying it.
So I was saying that is what I'm saying. He's putting scare quotes around that because what he likes to do is he likes to bite off people's dicks.
I don't know if he wants to do that. Maybe he just
maybe
he just thought it was a hot dog.
All right, let me get back to my proposal. Okay.
Oh, good.
So here's what I think we should do. We should, and this came about. I think I watched a couple of different videos about, the why primaries are scheduled the way they are, and da 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 da. We abolish the primaries, right? We have one election. We have everybody in that election, right? And we do ranked choice voting.
I agree with that.
Okay, so everybody who wants to run for president, they're not running for the nomination of a specific political party. They are just all running against each other from the get-go. Mm-hmm. When we get to election day, everybody ranks the candidates. Maybe if there's like 50 of them running, you don't have to bother ranking below like your top 5. And we do ranked choice voting. And for those who don't understand it, that means you put your number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and what is the exact mechanic? I mean, I have relatives who live in Maine, so They've explained it to me, but
there's an actual like I think it might have been This American Life. It might have been. Actually, it doesn't make sense for it to be This American Life because it was about Irish elections.
Well,
but they'll probably. I think it might have been Radiolab. So like,
okay,
take a look into that, and then you can actually get the nitty gritty about it. But like, you put the people that you like the most in the order you like them the most, and then if somebody gets eliminated, it goes to
if your number one gets eliminated, it goes to your number two.
Right.
If your number two gets eliminated, it goes to your number three, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Until enough.
Until your vote until your vote counts towards somebody that you like.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that would solve a hell of a lot of problems. And yeah, I mean, I would love to say that you also allow people to do it from a device, but that is asking for disaster.
Well, the fucking Iowa caucuses proved that isn't something that.
But in terms of thinking about getting more,
or is it
people...
the Iowa caucus?
I don't know. Iowa caucus and Town Howl are both. Yeah, no, in terms of getting more people involved, those people who are always going to have to work, or, they're maybe not able to easily get to a polling place. I think having an electronic option would be fantastic, but how do you secure that electronic option? Who the fuck knows? It doesn't seem like anybody knows at this point. So I have to go down to my fucking town hall on Tuesday. Fortunately, I have the day off. But my kids, I gotta ask, this is weirding me out, because in Chelmsford we have one polling place. We're down to one polling place.
What? It
is the gymnasium of the McCarthy Middle School.
That was where I used to go.
Yeah, and that's the only polling place in town now. My kids don't go. Neither of them go to the McCarthy. They go to one of the elementary schools and the other middle school, and so they have a half day. And what I find myself wondering is, kids who go to McCarthy, where the polling place is, do they also have a half day? And what the fuck is the traffic going to be like if they have a half day? And
it's not like kids in middle school are driving themselves.
No, but
to
the
school.
Buses to take kids out of that middle school are taking up the entire front part of the school. And driving in there, because it's the only polling place in town, is ridiculous. They need 2-3 traffic cops.
We're the number one station in town.
It's ridiculous.
As Chelmsford just shrunk as far as population goes. Is that why?
No, I don't think so. I think back when I lived at home, so lived at the same when I was younger, and I lived with my parents. Our polling place was was near the South Row School, but it was in the South Row School. So I don't know why they stopped that.
Why don't they put it in the old Westland School, where it's just admin offices?
It's not just that's where my wife works. It's a early childhood.
Oh, okay.
Throughout that entire building.
All right, well. Yeah. All right. Well, it's not just admin offices anymore.
But what they could do is they could do it at the town hall. I mean, and that's where early voting has been.
Mm-hmm.
But they could open up the basement of the town hall, which I think used to be the gym the gym and the stage back when it was the high school, way back in one of my aunt's days. And they could do that. I don't know why they don't have multiple places, but McCarthy is it. Everybody goes to McCarthy, and that is not the biggest parking lot in the world.
When I was still living there, I would vote at Harrington's. Actually, I think they changed it.
Okay.
Not Harrington.
Not Harrington's the liquor store, but Harrington the school.
The Harrington's the liquor store. Isn't Harrington's the liquor store anymore?
No, I know. I forget what it is. It's a travesty. Everything should stay the same, Steve. The fucking not Wendy's.
Oh, you went to Wendy's this time?
No. The Friendlies that was in the town center.
Ask Brian the next time you see him to tell you his diarrhea story about Friendlies in the center of town.
Well, it's not there anymore. They closed it, and then they took all the Friendly's stuff off of it, and they I don't know, they stripped it down to its whatever, and then seemingly just hung a fucking sign and turned it into a pizza place. Now, apparently the pizza is shit. Everyone I've heard who's gone to this place thinks it's terrible.
What's it called?
I don't know.
Ye Old Pizza Joint?
No, it's supposedly like, I think it's like brick oven or wood. It's fucking crap is what I've heard. But the outside of the building looks like they never finished fucking construction. It's like they tore off everything that made it look like Friendly's. Sort of, I think it was white siding and like a brick.
There's a brick oven pizza place on the other side of the center. Like,
yeah, there's the fucking Bertucci's is what
that, and there's like the other
yes,
one.
There is like an upscale pizza joint. And the other thing that any pizza place in Chelmsford has to deal with is there are already 2 established pizza places just a little bit further down the road. Just don't get me started. It's just like the 2 fucking grocery stores in town being across the street from each other.
Well, there's that, but there's
Jimmy's
and and Brother. Is Brothers still there?
I don't know Brothers.
That's right up. That is it's on, I think, Summer Street. We're getting really fucking local for you. Over by where 3 Rolls was.
Three Trolls.
No. Well, it's weird if you don't see the T on the side. It looks like 3 Rolls.
That one might still be there. Yeah. But we are a town that has established allegiances to our pizza places. That is my understanding. My friend Jen Peteroy, who's an author. Mm-hmm. There's a pizza place in her one of her books that is very obviously, I don't know if she names Jimmy's, but it's very obviously Jimmy's. And I was just like, what? Like, how? Jimmy's? Who the fuck goes to Jimmy's? Like,
well, you used to go to Jimmy's when
I did not go to fucking Jimmy's.
I've seen you eat pizza from Jimmy's because we walked across the street from
Hot Comics.
Yes.
You know, we did that once or twice, and then we decided we hated Jimmy's, and they hated Jimmy's, the people who ran the comic book store, and then I had to walk with one of them to fucking Zesty's, which was much further away at that point, every time they wanted pizza. So we did not ever go to the one across the street because we all decided we hated it. Jimmy's Pizza is fucking shit. Zesty's is the shit.
My dad still goes there to
Zesty's?
Jimmy's.
Oh, to Jimmy's. Well...
And we used to go.
I got a bone to pick with your pop then.
Well, you know.
He likes it though.
I guess, but like we used to go. The laundromat isn't there anymore, right? Mm-mm. Yeah, we used to go to the laundromat there, which was two
a couple doors down.
Yeah, a couple doors down from Jimmy's Pizza,
and we used to bakery a couple doors down from that. There used to be.
Well,
right?
that was like all the way down, almost to the Hong Kong.
Oh yeah. So more than a couple.
And that was where I developed my fondness for gingerbread cookies.
To bring it all the way back.
Yeah, to bring it all the way back to an episode that happened 4 years ago.
On a leap year, which I guess now would be a good time, you know, since we've talked enough about pizza, for you to explain why leap years are stupid.
It's just that, okay,
either that
I did the calculations, and all you would have to do to eliminate this day.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it's 4 years. Hold on.
Every
divided
4 years.
by 4.
Uh-huh.
You would basically, all you would have to do is add 1 minute to every day in those 4 years.
Right.
And then you don't need this day anymore.
Okay, but people don't like change.
Yeah, obviously. We needed to make America great again.
Well, they like that kind of change.
That's not change.
That's
going back to a racist time.
That's making America great again. They like that in their mind. in the minds of a plurality of voters, not a majority. I don't know. In the minds of a lot of voters, that's the.
All right, what the fuck? So all you have to do is just add a minute to every day in those
24
4 years.
hours and 1 minute.
No,
where do we add the 1 minute?
Basically,
at the very end. So you go to 12.
All right. So how many?
You go to 1160.
We just make time is relative. We made this shit up.
Yes.
So basically, all we have to do is maybe even like, what was there, like 84,000 seconds?
Uh-huh.
We just make each of those a teeny bit longer.
Okay.
And then that adds up to an extra minute in the day.
Yep.
And we have the same amount of time that we already have.
Okay. 525,965 minutes.
All right. Fucking rent.
Well, I had to stop and do the math because you're asking me to add 365 minutes. So,
that's 1 year, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about 4 years.
Right, but the song is 525,600 minutes.
But they should have made
How do you measure a year in the life?
Well, they should have like done a redo when they put it on film and made it for like a leap year.
Yeah, they should have, but they did not.
How do you count?
How do you measure
how do you measure a year when there's an extra day?
I think that was a verse that Jonathan Larson left out.
Well, Jonathan Larson is a piece of shit.
Well, he's a very dead piece of shit, so you can't argue.
Well, now I feel bad about
He died of was it an aneurysm? I mean, he died before the play opened or while the play was opening. It's like a...
Well, that's a bummer.
Yeah, he never got to see the success.
Poor fella. He should have been like, but he should have had foresight that I would be talking about this.
He should have. Of all the things he should have done differently. That's the one. So we were just at, like, so you have voted. You did early. You did early voting. I have not voted. I'm torn between two candidates on the side that I would normally vote on, and then I'm also torn about maybe just declaring myself a Republican.
You don't have to do that.
All right. Well,
are you unenrolled?
I'm unenrolled.
So then you pick. You pick Republican or Democrat.
Do I have to? No, in New Hampshire, one of the states I've lived in, at some point you had to declare to get whatever it was, and then at the end of the process, undeclare to get back on the undeclared list.
No.
Okay.
You basically
I mean, I've voted since then, but I don't remember the
You're
process.
Unenrolled. You can pick either one.
Okay. So, I mean, there's part of me that's like, just because I want to be able to vote against Donald Trump twice in 1 year, it's like, I want to pick the Republican ballot and vote for Bill Weld.
Yes.
I'm going to go ask my uncle, who's a big Bill Weld supporter, if he's going to do the same thing. I'm guessing not.
Well, he's not an authoritarian jackass.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is, this same uncle voted for Gary Johnson and Bill Weld back in 2016. I just want to know if he's sticking by his principles.
Probably not.
He's probably watched enough Fox News
to have been sufficiently brainwashed. Yeah. And then now he's just basically, oh, this guy's the best.
Yeah.
Just like people that call themselves Christian, that think that Trump is better than Jesus.
Well, so what I'm torn about then, assuming I don't do that, is there are two candidates that I like about evenly. The rest of them can go fuck themselves, and I wish they were all dead and out of the running.
I don't necessarily wish death on any of the candidates.
I just wish they would all go away. But there is part, since I don't really. Well, actually, I mean, I saw something on the way in today that indicated that our state is not only not up for grabs, but it's swung to Mr. Sanders.
Yes,
which was very disappointing for me, just because I thought that it swung so definitively, because it goes right back to me feeling like, okay, my vote doesn't count for shit, which is the way that I have felt since I moved back to Massachusetts, that it really doesn't matter what I vote.
It's weird because, like, who are they polling? I'm like, these polls happen all the time, and I'm not exactly sure, because I've never been called ever in my life about a I mean, I might have.
Yeah.
We have the landline.
They do call my dad, and you should hear, you don't even have to be listening in when they ask him if he would vote for Warren. Mm-hmm. You can see his face turn red, and like his hatred for Elizabeth Warren is so much that you don't even have to, like, he always ends the call with I wouldn't vote for her if she were the last person on the planet or if my life depended on it. Insert cliche here. And he hangs up. Whereas he likes to toy with a lot of the other people who junk call him. But I wonder if that's who they're polling.
They're polling people that answer the phone.
Yeah. Yep. And so who knows? So I will go out and vote. I'm not going to not vote, but I find myself torn.
But it's weird that Bernie is polling so high with that group because, like, I think the group that really loves Bernie is young people, which I don't know.
It's bonkers to me. What I find myself torn between Colonel Sanders and Miss Warren. But
guess what? I voted for one of them.
I know you did. But part of me leans very heavily. The part of me that's rebellious leans very heavily towards voting for Warren. I'm not going to tell my dad that I did it, but I just want to sit there smugly at dinner on Tuesday night and be able to be like, I voted
slurp
for
your
the person.
Spaghetti with purpose.
Just so I can say I voted for the one person he would find just like he would just be like, he wouldn't even be able to finish a sentence. Like how could you vote for her would be his thing.
And you could say the same to him.
I don't know if he I can't remember if he voted for Trump or if he did like my uncle and voted for Johnson.
I hope my dad did that. Yeah. But I mean, we talked, I think, around his birthday before the election that year. And I was sort of trying to get into his brain. I mean, like, I know you're probably not going to vote for Hillary Clinton, but can you please not vote for Donald Trump? I think a lot of people our age probably needed to have that conversation with their parents.
But I can't have that conversation. So and I'm in therapy because I can't have those kind of conversations.
So everybody out there, if you have parents that are still around, have that conversation with them. Just so just maybe, like the Bill Weld, might not get definitely won't get the nomination. But he could run third party and then be a spoiler, like was it Joe Walsh was trying to do?
Well, the problem, as far as I can see, I can't have that conversation with the adults. I am a fucking adult, but I am a grown-up. I was gonna say with the grown-ups.
It's weird that to think of yourself as a grown-up.
But I can't have that conversation with the older generation in my family without being attacked. If they so, like, the moment anything political comes up and they remember, oh, Chris is a bleeding heart liberal, they want to stamp that out of me like nobody's business. And they'll ask me, and they'll ask me for if it's an argument about how the president is wrong and has done bad things, they want evidence from me. And I'm so flabbergasted that they want evidence from me that I don't even know where to begin.
And be like, I didn't conduct the investigation, kids. Like, but did you need evidence when fucking Hillary fucking her emails or whatever?
And similarly, if we get into, who would I vote for instead? They want me to be able to say, why would I vote for them? And this is part of why I have a problem going into Tuesday, is that I'm mostly voting on a gut feeling because I don't really have anything to back it up. I can't listen to the fucking debates. I tried, and they raise my anxiety so much. All those people yelling at each other.
When they're basically on the same side. They're just on, different. Well, if you look at how like the country has swung so far right over the last, maybe, say it's starting maybe in
the 80s.
Yeah, I'd say the 80s because Reagan charmed everybody into thinking that it's a great thing to be an unbridled capitalist.
And then the Clintons come in and they become Democrats in name, but they're not really Democrats.
Like they would have been very much centrist Republicans, a number of years prior.
And I saw somebody say the other day, they felt like the Clintons were a necessary evil at the time because of what was going on with Reagan, but are not a necessary evil anymore. And it would be nice to have a party that actually was to the left and not just of the center. At any rate, like I could not tell, and nobody, I'm going to go to Maine tomorrow. We're recording this on Saturday. I'm going to Maine tomorrow to visit my in-laws, and all of them are ardent Bernie supporters. The problem I've encountered there when I ask them, like, why should I support Bernie, is that inevitably they get into talking about the conspiracies against Bernie, and then they're off on this tangent, and nobody ever comes back to be able to tell me, like, specifically why I should vote for him. And similarly, if they ask me why would I want to vote for Warren instead, other than to piss off my father, I don't have any fantastic reasons either.
The like, if you, I think the Washington Post recently had a thing basically.
Yeah.
That it just asked you a bunch of questions about,
and I did one of those, and I was about equal on both of them.
I was I think I was predominantly Warren. Yeah. I think it was Bernie, and then I forget who the third. Yeah. I think it might have been Biden.
I think mine might have also been Tulsi back when Tulsi. Well, I think she has not dropped out. Right?
No.
So I think I had Tulsi was up there. Maybe my sister-in-law was high on Yang for
Yang Gang, baby.
Yep.
Well, I think the thing that we need to remember is that Vermin Supreme is here for us to give us all ponies, and that is who we should all vote for in the general election.
Sure, of course. And then there's the defeatist in me that is like, oh, I need to stop myself.
Yes.
We're not defeating. There's a defeatist in me that doesn't want to go to the polls at all on Tuesday for reasons that he is not allowed to share. I have told him he is not allowed to speak here.
How about the defeatist? Shut the fuck up and goes to the polls on Tuesday and votes for your favorite person, regardless of whether you think they're going to win in this state or not, because this is what the fucking primary is all about.
Right. Yeah.
Because if you just be like, well, Bernie's ahead in the polls, I shouldn't go. Guess what? If that's the way you feel about it,
fucking polls.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll not only stay ahead in the polls, he'll win.
Yeah. So, and if that's the person you're going to vote for, cool. You'll add to that fucking that pile on. If it's not, you'll give a lift to somebody who might need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vote for who you want to vote for.
Yeah.
Except if it's Trump.
Yeah. And if you want to vote for Trump, what's
fall asleep that day? I mean, like, I don't want to wish harm on people, but just sleep the whole fucking day.
I did have this not paranoid. I had this vision in the car yesterday. I was in traffic, so I was annoyed. Where suddenly I was the judge in charge of like a post-apocalypse courtroom, where like we'd finally gotten out from the thumb of Trump and whoever else. And I was now passing sentences on, I forget, I had also just read some news story, some heinous news story about a crime that had been committed. And so in my brain, I was laying down verdicts of death and dismemberment, and it was very satisfying. So
we went from an authoritarian right wing. I did not say, hey, Siri, talk to me about authoritarianism. Nothing. Go back to sleep. I never sleep. She doesn't sleep, folks.
She doesn't sleep. That's my personal assistant, and she doesn't sleep.
Well,
not just like me.
No, she's like Mr. Data.
Mr. Data. It's just like Mr. Lore.
Well, Mr. Lore is dead.
Is he dead? He's dead. Huh?
Yeah, he died in, I think, the beginning of season 7.
Oh, okay. I could not remember. It's been a long time since I watched it.
We just watched it, so.
Oh, okay.
We're coming up on the end of the series.
Oh, right. We were talking about that. You're going to watch Deep Space Nine next.
I don't know if we're going to watch Deep Space Nine. But there was a crossover episode that we just watched.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Was Worf over on the station?
Not yet. Well, no, he's still in the Enterprise.
Oh, that's right. He doesn't go over there until...
That's something Becky will love if we do watch Deep Space Nine, is that there's more Worf.
Does she hate Worf?
She doesn't. She doesn't mind Worf, but she doesn't like Worf-centric episodes.
Oh, okay.
Because they tend to be like, has this fucking kid in them, and his kid sucks. So.
It's,
and he's like, Michael Dorn is not a great actor.
He was in a Star Trek movie before any of the other yahoos from his show. He was in the Undiscovered Country.
Cool.
He played his grandfather. Was it his grandfather? Father? I don't know. An ancestor of
somebody Moog. I think that's his family name.
Yeah. He was defending Kirk and Bones.
Spock. Blah, 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 blah.
Did you watch the
original series?
No, the remakes. The J.J. Abrams did the first two, and then there was the third one.
I didn't watch the third one.
Okay, yeah,
but I watched the remakes. Yeah, they're fine.
I enjoyed them.
J.J. Abrams occasionally does some things.
He does some excellent things, like the most recent Star Wars movies. He did a really bang up job with those. I really enjoyed them. I can't wait. They're coming out on digital video.
Digital video disc?
Well, no. Did I still do DVDs?
Yeah.
Or is everybody to Blu-ray? Can you still buy like a regular DVD?
I think you can buy. Okay. Or you can get like 4K something or other.
So DVDs have not gone the way of VHS tapes yet.
Yes,
they will soon, I'm sure. Not soon enough, and not soon enough will we get to entirely digital and stop having to buy fucking plastic. But that's just my own personal preference.
Well, you could just only buy DVDs that are in like a metal case.
Well, the DVDs themselves are plastic.
You can get metal ones.
You can't. I don't think you can. All right, well, I don't think that exists.
Yeah, I can't. You gotta still buy plastic.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about the.
I held up my phone when I said that.
Tell me about the coronavirus, Steve. It's not just a virus for people who drink shitty beer.
We're gonna make everybody's just gonna turn this episode off. They're talking politics. They're talking current events.
Well, we could spend the entire episode talking about my vacation,
which everybody loved this. We got so many emails about it.
All right, I enjoyed my vacation, and I have one more thing I want to share, but I want to leave it for the end of the show.
Okay,
because it is a spoiler for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So we'll tell you when we get there, in case you ever plan to go to the theme parks and you don't want to.
All right, well that makes sense because you don't want to spoil amusement park rides,
right?
Because they're not fun unless oh, I was on this roller coaster, buddy.
You were the one who told me don't fucking spoil it at the end of last episode. I'm trying to be good. I'm following up on that, and you're giving me shit for
I was on Yankee Cannonball, and it went up a hill, and then it went down a hill, and around a bend. I had my arms up, then I put them down, held on to the...
Spoilers, Steve!
And I went, whoa! Sorry if you're going to Canopy Lake next season, but that's what happened. Oh, and if you go on the bear ride, I forget what that one's called.
No, it's just
Untamed. Yeah. It goes straight up, and it goes straight back down and round a bend, and then I think it does a flippy thing, and that's when it takes your picture. So you do a double guns at the camera.
And so you've been on it, so they don't just allow bears on it. It's not just a...
Only very large, hairy gay men can go on that ride.
Burly was the word I was going to use. Burly gay men.
Burly gay men.
Burly gay men. Oh, just keep saying it. Burly gay men.
Grr.
Speaking of gay, one thing we have not talked about...
Coronavirus?
No. The other side of gay, well, that makes it binary. One of the other facets of gay, lesbians. Ladies who sleep with other ladies. Well, I wrote a book that involves a lady who sleeps with another lady, and it is currently in the top... I am currently in the top 20 of lesbian romance on Amazon.com.
What else? What other categories?
Just regular lesbian fiction.
Okay.
And time travel fiction. I'm also up there.
What if you combined all three
into one?
Into one, would you be the number one of lesbian?
I don't think so.
Romance. Time travel fiction?
If there was a number one, they would show that on my Amazon page. They would show that first. They would say, "Look, he's number one in something," and I would get a little tag.
You should make that category. And I'm like, you got to understand that the people that read books are very particular about the categories that they like.
Steve, they are. I have seen the research.
So lesbian romance, time travel fiction should be a category.
You can get down to not just paranormal romance, but paranormal romance featuring paranormal shifter romance featuring.
It's a shifter.
A shifter is a shapeshifter.
Oh,
like werewolves and shit.
Listen, I have a problem. Could you fix the potholes on every time I go out to kill more humans? I trip and I almost break my fucking face.
That kind of shifter. As opposed to like the shifter in your car, which could go right over the potholes.
Yeah.
No. So I'm climbing up there with my book, The Piano of Death, which is, and it's on the free Amazon charts. So because that one is free. My book, The Missing Mr. Wingfield, I split in half. So now you can try the first half for free, which is its own book called The Piano of Death, and then you can continue on to the Boot of Destiny, which is the second book, which is the other half of Missing Mr. Wingfield. Or you can just buy Missing Mr. Wingfield and get the whole
Missing
goddamn
Mr.
thing.
Wingfield isn't a very lengthy book, is it?
It's nearly 300 pages.
That's not.
I am going in the direction of short books. That's my thing. I like writing short books, and that's where I'm going.
Okay, you should write just a lengthy, like George R.R. Martin fantasy novel.
I should. Maybe I will.
And just be like, just say, in interviews, like if we're talking like this.
Yeah. Yep.
Chris, do you consider yourself the next George R.R. Martin?
Well, I am one initial short.
Oh yeah, that is true. Are you going to write like 4 or 5 books and then just give up on writing altogether?
No, I'm never going to give up, but I am going to use my Corona Smith and Wesson typewriter gun combination and write until.
Is that how you get coronavirus? From Corona Smith and Wesson?
Corona Smith and Wesson. Oh, Smith Corona. It's Smith coronavirus.
Yeah, so coronavirus is just, it's like a cold or flu virus.
Oh,
that's all it is.
That's all it is, but it kills you.
As does sometimes the cold or the flu.
Okay. So are you saying maybe we're overreacting to this pandemic?
There isn't necessarily. I don't want to say people are overreacting because I want people to be healthy.
Right.
And the most vulnerable or the elderly would probably fall victim to this.
For sure.
More so than people our age or younger.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, like let's not spread viruses. Like if you're sick, stay at home.
Right.
Wash your hands like a fucking good boy.
Mm-hmm. Or gal or or NB.
Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah.
And just and I've heard, and I think I might have saw this on Twitter, that a certain number of people, after going to the bathroom, don't wash their hands.
I have heard this. I have seen this happen.
It makes me fucking like sick to my stomach when I see it, and I'm like now what I do when I leave a bathroom.
Yeah, do you get paddles?
Paddles?
There's a podcast I listened to, and they referred to it this way. They the guy on there, very very germophobic. This was recorded during a time when we weren't in the middle of a pandemic, and what he would do was grab a few extra paper towels, fold them in such a way that they would basically be paddles that he could wrap around the handle of the door, so that he could pull the door open with the paddles. And then, of course, they got to complaining about the fact that some bathrooms don't have a trash can right there. So then he's got to continue to carry the paddles until he gets back to his desk to toss them out there.
See, I would just simply use the paper towel and and throw it in the trash, or try to do my Hoop Jones across the room.
Right. Yeah.
Like I'm not holding on to it for a fucking hour. Well, I gotta go and get some lunch. I'll just put in my I don't get paddles. I just whatever paper towel I'm using to dry off my hands.
Yeah.
I will hold it in my hand and open the door with it.
Yeah. Same here.
And then throw that in the garbage.
I mean, it's better if you have bathrooms that don't have doors.
Yeah, because
bathroom design...
Doctors Without Borders, bathrooms outdoors.
All right, hold on. I gotta write.
We already did Doctors Without.
No. I'm just writing.
Borders.
Chris thinks it's better if bathrooms don't have doors.
Yeah, I mean, then everybody can see you shit while you're in the stall.
No, stalls should have doors. What I'm saying is, there is a way to design a bathroom such that there is no, and you see this in airports, you see it at rest areas.
Oh yeah, they just walk in like
there's like a kind of
Canopy Lake Park.
You see, I already said rest stops. So
spoilers on the bathroom at Canopy Lake Park. It goes around the bend there. And
you got a little bend, and
then there's the sinks right as you walk in, and then you walk around another bend, and that's where the urinals are.
So tomorrow, when I'm driving up to Maine, I'm going to stop at the rest area
for a quick blowy.
You know what fucking show was I watching where they're like, let's meet in the family some Steph was watching. Let's meet in the family bathroom. There's a fella and a lady were agreeing to meet in the family bathroom for a little blowy. So now there actually are bathrooms where, as long as you feel comfortable robbing a young family of their chance to change their child's diaper, or a mom of her chance to breastfeed in private. As long as you feel comfortable doing that. There should be a
separate fucking room for that. It shouldn't be the bathroom.
Well, but a lot of places you'll find. The Pheasant Lane Mall is good in this regard. They've got a family bathroom. They've also got a breastfeeding room up there on the second floor
near the Blaze Pizza.
Yeah. But some places just have the family bathroom, which is big enough. Usually, it's got a stall, a sink, changing table. Back when my kids were younger, that was sort of our go-to. And now not so much. Now I have to stand outside, and they're both old enough now. But Melody was kind of on the cusp there when she started wanting to go in by herself, and I was like, please let nobody kidnap my 9-year-old.
Well, there's usually only one way in and out of the room.
Yes, but still, I watched Runaway Train by Soul Asylum too many times.
That song always made me laugh.
Why did it make you laugh?
Because it was just ridiculous. It was just like when you try too hard, it does not register with me. Like if someone's like so full of, like they're like at some corporate retreat or fucking meeting, or like they're like, yeah, we're doing so great, and there's fucking we're singing a song at the fucking corporate outing or whatever. It fucking makes me so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And well, for this song, they were like trying to like be like, oh, this is so sad, and like, runaway train never coming back. Yeah, and it's just fucking stop it. It's just
turning down the track.
Burning in my brain. I know.
Run away, 'cause it always stays the same.
Yeah, no. It like, you know how like you get the little like the piss shivers, the little tingles, like with that song. I do not get that at all. It just fucking makes me laugh.
You know what will not make you laugh?
The story about Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah. Well, no. It already made you laugh that I was worried about spoiling an amusement park ride.
Whoa!
So I could talk forever about my vacation. I actually had a really good time. I think there are plenty of interesting anecdotes, but I know
I'm not doubting that you had a good time.
Yeah, I know that we took too long to start talking about it, and now we've taken too many episodes.
We're like 3 months in, and
so I just want to share this one last thing, because we've talked a lot about Star Wars, and we have differing opinions as we've spoken about this latest series. But we both like The Mandalorian. Yeah, Mike goes so far as to say really like The Mandalorian.
I really liked it. It was a great departure from the nonsense that they've been putting out for the past 4 years.
And so what I love about Galaxy's Edge, and I would highly suggest, if you're not a theme park person, they have it both in Florida and in California. And go to the one in California.
Because I went on the Turkish twist and it was like spinning around in a circle, blood. I barfed.
Because you can get
and it flew right back into my mouth.
You can get into the one in California for cheaper, and you only have to spend about a day there. You could do both of the parks in California in one day, easy. So what I love about Galaxy's Edge, you walk in and you feel like you're in a Star Wars movie. Everything from the drink cart, which has soda bottles shaped like thermal detonators, to the sort of open market souvenir area, which feels like something you've seen right out of the movies, is just fantastic. I did not get a chance to go into the cantina, but I've seen pictures because the cantina is so fucking popular. You have to make a reservation to go in and get drunk on, I don't know if it's spiked blue milk or whatever it is, but
is the cantina band there playing?
I don't think there is.
Or is
I think there's a robot that's playing, like acting as a kind of DJ playing Star Wars type music.
And what about are there any performances by, I mean, I know this happened at Jabba's Palace, but the Max Rebo band?
I don't believe they have the Max Rebo band yet, but there is an area in both, as I understand it, both California and Florida that's set up for future expansion, so we can still
hopefully we have
Max Rebo
band like from the original Return of the Jedi without the fucking shrieking nonsense that happened.
Yep. But you do see people in costume around. You'll see stormtroopers, Kylo Ren, a lot of the masked people. At certain times of the day, you'll see Chewbacca come out and be working on the giant life-size Millennium Falcon that is a centerpiece.
He's like basically slamming on something.
Yeah, he's slamming on something.
He's working on it.
You
wouldn't think, and this is just probably like just tallism, I suppose. But that a lumbering person like Chewbacca would be so good at like crafting electronics or doing any sort of repairs.
You wouldn't think, but
he apparently
he's got surprises up his not his sleeves, but do you
think he has an impressive hog underneath all that hair?
That's a good question. I mean, Leia seemed happier to see him than to see Han back at in The Force Awakens. Just saying.
Well, I mean, I think there was a little bit of something between them.
I think there was a lot of something between them, if you get my meaning.
What, Chewbacca? Did she put a strap on and did they like do Chewbacca from either side?
All right, so there's a lightsaber shop.
They have an interesting relationship. Why don't we just say that?
Yeah. There's a lightsaber shop. I didn't get to go in there because my family was like, for the price of one lightsaber, we can get the kids each a droid. So let's do that. We did go to
the phone?
No, an actual droid. So my older daughter built an R2 unit, and my younger daughter built a BB unit, and each parent got to stand in there and help them, and that was pretty fucking fantastic. I mean, they're not full like life size, but they're way bigger than I expected them to be. And there's a little area out front for the kids once they've assembled their droid to play with it. And the droid will also react to things in the land. So it's a fantastic immersive experience, and that's not even talking about the two rides.
So let me get this straight. So you got on and it went up a hill and then went down.
So the ride that's been open longer is called Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, and it is a simulator ride, but it's a simulator ride at the end of you walking through the actual Millennium Falcon, getting to sit down where they played chess, see the bunks, see the various things, and then you get to go in as a team of 6. So if you've got a family of 6, it's just you. We had a family of 4, so it was us and a pair of 2 people, and we're going to pilot the Millennium Falcon on a smuggler's run.
Don't get cocky, kid.
Yeah, don't get cocky. Nobody gets to. The gunners are sitting there in the cockpit, which is a little bit of suspension of disbelief, but it works. Melody, my younger daughter, and I were the pilots on the Millennium Falcon.
Whoa!
And so one person controls forward and reverse, and one person controls up and down. Melody did quite a nice job with forward and reverse, and side to side.
How did Daddy do?
Daddy did not do so well with the up and down, and we managed to crash the Millennium Falcon a number of times. Crash it into things.
Into asteroids.
While we were trying to pick up the coaxium that we were trying to pick up and then get the hell out of Dodge.
Is that like what they make coaxial cables out of?
You hadn't seen Solo. Coaxium. It's what they use to power the...
I have not seen Solo. Becky watched it on the plane back from the honeymoon. I did not. I watched another movie.
Coaxium is part of what they use to make hyperfuel in the Star Wars universe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I should have put more than $5 worth.
But the thing I really wanted to talk about was the newer ride, which is Rise of the Resistance. And I think this ride, if you're a Star Wars fan, if you like amusement parks at all, it's worth the price of admission alone. It is the coolest experience I have ever had, and I got to do it twice.
And I have been on the Yankee Cannonball.
It's like 4 or 5 rides in one, and that's not. Well, that might be hyper. It's at least 3 rides in one. So you go through a queue. The idea is that you're being recruited by the Resistance to go off and fight in a battle somewhere. And so you go through the queue and you get into a room where a hologram of Rey, played by Daisy Ridley, so you see, obviously filmed, whatever. But at this point,
she's not actually there? Holy shit!
At this point, you're so.
I'm so out now. Daisy Ridley isn't there.
We've only got a couple minutes left. I'm trying to do this really quick. So
is there a day you can go to, like a day of the year you can go to Disney World that isn't like a complete fucking shit show of people there?
Oh yeah, I mean anything that if you're talking Florida, the month of January and most of February outside is absolutely empty. They cut back their hours. The weeks that people are on February vacation are scattered enough that I've had friends who are down there and seen pictures that it's nowhere near the crowd levels that we were seeing either when we went in the summertime.
Right, so if we go ever, then
you want to go in like
January.
A January. So
maybe for Becky's birthday.
Yeah, after Christmas, before any like February vacations or things, and then it's after February vacations. You get into like college spring break, so
yeah, because then you don't like that's when like it's titty time at Disney.
yeah, you've got other things to do.
No. I mean, this is you're running around and then you're just throwing beads and
yep, throwing beads. Chewbacca's can't work on the Millennium Falcon.
That was my
people are flashing him all the time.
He's like, I can't work on this Millennium Falcon. I'm seeing too many titties. I mean, do the Wookiees even like human titties? Like,
well, I think he liked Leia's. That's the implication I was making earlier.
He might have liked her fake cock.
Okay, so listen. So you go through this thing. You get recruited by Rey and BB-8, and now you're basically at the end of the line portion, right? These 2 doors open up, and a bunch of people dressed up like Star Wars people from the Resistance.
What are you guys dressed up as? Star Wars?
Are sort of telling you, hurry up, come on, we gotta go. And you run or walk or whatever across this small little courtyard where they've got a full life-sized X-Wing that is sitting right there. And you're getting onto a transport. So you get onto the transport, the doors close. There's Amon Calamari, so not Admiral Akbar, because Admiral Akbar by this point in the story is dead. Spoilers for The Last Jedi.
He can't... So he can't tell everybody that it's a trap.
No, he can't. Yeah. So you have the sensation of you lift
of
off.
A York peppermint patty.
No. So you lift off in your craft, and then everything's going all right, but you get too close to a Star Destroyer and it tractor beams you in.
Oh no.
Then the doors on the other side open and you step out onto what is one of the most awe-inspiring things I've ever seen, which is it looks like you're in the hangar of a Star Destroyer. You've got at least 50, 60 stormtroopers, some of whom are just statues, some of whom are actually moving animatronics, and some of whom are cast members, so people dressed as stormtroopers. And you are shuttered off into, so that's a whole experience in of itself. You're shuttered down a hallway where you're going to be interrogated by Kylo Ren and General Hux. You go into a room where they are above you, and then all of a sudden the Resistance people break you out. You get into another ride vehicle and you're escaping through the Star Destroyer. You go under cannons that are firing, and over here you're seeing space as they're firing.
The Final Frontier?
You're not seeing the Final Frontier. You end up on the deck, or just sort of below the deck very briefly. So you see Kylo Ren and he sees you and now he's after you. You're heading towards an escape pod. So this whole part, you go past 2 AT-ATs.
Inside the Star Destroyer?
Inside the Star Destroyer. You go past 2 AT-ATs. And then once you finally make it to the escape pod, Kylo Ren tries to stop you. Of course, it's a happy ending, so you get away. You get into the escape pod, and at that point, you get the sensation of dropping.
It's not a York.
Not the sensation of a York peppermint patty. You get the sensation of dropping and then rocketing off into space. You crash land back on the planet of Batuu, which is where Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is set. And you get out, and there is the Mon Calamari, not Admiral Akbar, waving to you.
Sorry, it was a trap.
Sorry, it was a trap. Yeah. And
maybe next time.
You walk out having had the most amazing sort of experience ever. It's so the crown jewel of their parks was the they did an Avatar ride a few years ago, which is also really cool.
You did talk about that.
I did talk
time.
about that one, but this ride is sort of above and beyond, and just makes me very excited for what they might do with Marvel stuff. Of course, they can only do that west of the Mississippi, which is a really stupid thing left over from the 90s when Marvel was selling all their stuff off. But it's a really cool experience, and like I said, I think...
Well, I'll give you an excuse to go out west and visit your brother.
Yeah. I think it's worth visiting at least once. And like I said, if you don't want to deal with Florida's weather, California has the exact same thing. So there you go.
Only more land.
They don't have more land.
No, well, I mean, it's called land.
Oh, it is. It's called Disneyland, and then across the parking across the way is Disney's California Adventure.
Cool.
Yeah, I've been there once. I went to go visit my brother. I went there.
My brother and me.
My brother and me. Have you listened to that show? Is that any good?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've only heard clips on the YouTubes, but you know, the McElroys are a funny bunch.
Yeah.
So I would wholeheartedly recommend it. From what I've heard,
you would endorse.
I would endorse it.
You would endorse them. Even.
I would endorse them and President Supreme.
Hey, if somebody did want to send us an email, Steve, they could do that. Even though,
yeah, right.
Even though they don't seem apt to, I'm gonna give it to them one more time, just like you
have
like
two
Britney
options.
Spears.
Count 2 options.
No. Brittany doesn't say give it to her one more time. She says hit me, baby, one more time, which is really violent when you think about it.
She's also toxic and sinking under.
hot@clarkwiz.com or hot@horriblyofftopic.com. Both of them get to us, but
only one of them is the route you will choose. And will you be the one that chooses the road less traveled by?